Well, crypto holders, we are now just 2 days away from the next FOMC meeting, and things are getting juicy. What we can see is that the crypto market is in full reset mode right now, and I am not seeing enough people talking about what this reset means and why it's just so dang important for the crypto market this week. And so that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about what's happening, why this reset's important, what I'm expecting next, what I'm doing now, and much more. But before we do, guys, don't forget that if you're doing any trading in crypto, first thing, be very careful this week. But second thing, if you do want to get up to $10,000 in bonuses and lower trading fees than most other platforms, check out the link down below, guys. Again, you're going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses, which can go a very long way, especially towards the end of this year. So check that out down below. Now, as I mentioned before, the crypto market is in full reset mode as we speak. You can see it. I mean, most altcoins and Bitcoin are down over the last 24 hours. If you go look at the RSI heat map over the last 24 hours, everything is back to neutral, which it was either overbought or bought for the most part over the last couple days. And yeah, the crypto market has kind of just cooled back down. Now, when I say reset, I want to show you what I'm talking about, like a bit of a drawing, and then we'll actually go through some of our favorite cryptos, and you can kind of see tangibly what these resets look like, okay? So, in the crypto market, whenever you start to see things rally, which is what we saw last week, right? The crypto market started to rally. What's going to happen is that as they start to rally, let's say this is the price right here, and this is your indicator. Say this is like your RSI, for example, right? What's going to happen is the price is going to start to rally. And as the price rallies, it's going to pull your RSI, for example, up with it. Now, as you go higher and higher on your RSI, what you have to understand is that there is a stopping point. Like at some point, there's a cap to where you just can't go any further. And what will end up happening is that as the price gets up towards that cap, it's going to need to either go sideways or go down, right? The price is either going to need to consolidate or pull back a little bit in order to allow all of those indicators to reset, to allow them to cool down, pull back a little bit. And then after they do that, now there's a door of opportunity open for those indicators to continue upwards, which oftentimes, of course, does align with the price going upwards. So usually speaking, the reason why you're going to see pullbacks during uptrends is not just because that's what the market wants to do, but more it allows for your indicators to reset. And it also allows for a bit of a liquidity flush for people who are over leveraged in these moments. And so a reset generally looks something like this in the crypto market. Let's say there is a massive level of resistance right here for this crypto. And then the price of Bitcoin works itself up, then it comes back down a little bit. Then it works itself up. Then it gets all the way right under that key level of resistance. Then it uses a lot of strength to break through it. And as it breaks through it, let's say, for example, its RSI pushes all the way back above the 70 level, like something like this, right? And it gets completely overbought towards the upside. Well, generally speaking, what this means is that this move above this key level of resistance took all the bullish momentum that we have. It took all the strength that we had as bulls to push it above that resistance. And what will normally happen is that Bitcoin in this instance will come back down and reset, cool down, maybe even flip this previous point of resistance as support, and then use that support to continue upwards. This is what's called a reset. It's not a crash. It's not a dump. It's none of that. It's a reset. And it allows for the price to reset. It allows for the indicators to reset. And it allows for the bulls to reset in order to try to continue that move back to the upside. And I believe what we are seeing in the crypto market right now could very easily be just that. Because if you look at most of your top cryptos, they are very obviously resetting. And so now that you have a general idea of what a reset looks like, let me show you it more tangibly. So whenever we look at Bitcoin's price, what we can see is that Bitcoin made a crazy move over the last couple of days. Not only did Bitcoin break through this massive descending structure, but it also broke through this inverse head and shoulders that you can see right here. Now, to break through this massive descending structure, it needed to break through $111,000. In order to break through the inverse head and shoulders, it needed to break through $113,000. Now, it was obviously quite difficult to do that because by the time Bitcoin broke through this descending line and through this key zone of resistance right here, okay, right here, what we can see is that aligned with Bitcoin's RSI doing what? Going too high. It went over the 70 level. So now we are seeing these indicators overbought, okay? And so now that it broke this, sure, it went a little bit higher to continue to liquidate those short traders, but it is now cooling down and resetting. And as you can see, look at that 4-hour RSI. It's already back at the 50 level. And you remember what I told you, when this cool down, when this pullback happens, what it does is it resets your indicators and opens the door of opportunity for the upside for them to then push towards the upside again. And oftentimes that can be aligned with the price pushing upwards. And so right now, although it's not confirmed, and I guess Bitcoin easily could just do this and continue all the way back down, I just don't think that's as likely. I think it's much more likely that what we're seeing in the crypto market right now is a casual reset, allowing for the indicators and prices to cool off before trying to make another move to the top side. Let's look at Ethereum. So for Ethereum, what happened? Well, what we can see is that Ethereum was at the very bottom side of a massive ascending structure. This is a very hard structure to stay in, by the way. Usually ETH will do this. So the fact that it made this move to the upside, very difficult. Not only did it break through, of course, and hold this support, but it also broke through this $4,490 level, which is a massive zone of resistance. I mean, look, 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection, 4. Like, I mean, a ton of rejections happening right here at 44.90, and ETH was able to push straight up through that level, even though it was very difficult right here. Now look, the second that it broke through this key level of resistance, what did that align with? It aligned with that RSI getting overbought. And so of course that means that this move took a lot of bullish strength and a lot of bullish momentum. And then ETH's price went up a little bit higher, ran into this massive zone of resistance, and just by no means had enough energy to get above it. So what do you see? You see it resetting, you see it cooling down and coming back straight towards these key levels of support to try to flip these previous points of resistance into support as its RSI, for example, now comes back to the sub 50 level, one of the lowest levels it's been at since being back here, okay? And so now you can kind of see this is a bit of a reset. And I'm not going to continue to do this over and over again, but I will rapid fire some of your top alts just so you can see what it looks like. For Solana, for example, what happened? Solana's price broke through that massive macro golden Fibonacci zone, this huge yellow box, and it broke above this ascending level of resistance. It used a lot of bullish momentum to do it. It got overbought to the top side, as you can see, and now it's pulling back to the downside back at the 50 level. You look at XRP, for example. XRP broke out of this massive structure, broke out, used a lot of bullish momentum. What did that require? It required its RSI getting overbought. And now, since it, of course, used so much bullish momentum to get outside of it, it's pulling back and it is trying to find some support. SWI, same thing. XLM, same exact thing. Got all the way up to the top side of this massive descending channel, ran into resistance, got rejected, coming back down to find some support, resetting. As you can see, the majority of your major cryptos are in reset mode right now. And that does not mean that this pump that we're in is over. It does not mean that we cannot continue to see gains throughout this week or next week. It just means that we used a lot of bullish momentum to break out of these structures that we had been in. And now what the market is attempting to do is come back down, find a higher low, and use that higher low to continue to the top side. And that is a good thing by nature, because if it takes a pullback to see a pump, naturally, by nature, the pullback is a good thing, okay? And so that means that what we're seeing right now is not a bad thing. As long as we do find the higher low and can continue upwards, this is a good thing. And more, if anything, it's an opportunity. And so personally speaking, my game plan is to do a little bit of dollar cost averaging in this dip for any of my cryptos that pull back a good bit, right? For example, like XLM or XRP, sorry. XRP is back testing that macro channel. I might throw a little bit of profit back at XRP just to kind of see what happens. Or Solana, for example, it's trying to hold support on top of a massive zone of resistance. I might throw a little bit in. I'm not buying a lot. I don't think it's a good idea to buy a lot of crypto right now, but I do think it's a decent idea to throw a little bit in as we're pulling back, because if this is just a reset and if this is just a general correction, I think a pump following this pullback could be a good thing. Now, I actually, speaking of it being a good thing, think that what we're seeing right now is a good thing, considering that the FOMC meeting is approaching. Because as I mentioned before, we're just 2 days away from the FOMC meeting. And what oftentimes happens is that as you see a big event like this happen, you'll pump into it, and then the second it happens, everything dumps. It's called buy the rumor, sell the news. And if you were going to see a buy the rumor, sell the news event, you typically wouldn't see a big correction like we're seeing today happening, right? We would usually pump today, pump yesterday, pump tomorrow, get up into Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the market starts to fall when they make the announcement that they're going to cut rates. But that's not what we're seeing right now. And of course, the market could rally, by the time I release this video, don't get me wrong. But right now, we're not seeing that. And what this implies is that we could have a sustainable pump coming that isn't just absolutely wrecked by a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Not guaranteed. We're not even close to guaranteeing that, but it's a good sign. It's a good signal that the market is still naturally correcting ahead of such a major event, okay? And so all in all, I think this reset that we're seeing in the market right now is a good thing. I'm not even remotely freaked out by this pullback, and I do think that if the market can come back down, find some of these higher lows and continue upwards, we could still have some really nice gains in front of us, which is obviously a good thing. And so with that in mind, I'll keep you all updated as this does play out, but it is very important that you go on your crypto charts, look at the structure, try to find the reset. Like, why is ETH resetting? Okay, it's resetting because we were in the structure, we broke a major zone of resistance, it ran into another zone of resistance, it wasn't strong enough to break above it, so now it's pulling back. Locate why it's resetting, locate your key levels of support, and dollar cost average on those key levels of support if you want a good time to accumulate in. I wouldn't be doing a lot of buying right now, but a little bit of buying could be worth the risk. The risk is that everything just absolutely nukes. The positive side of it is that they actually hold support, finish the reset, and continue upwards. And if you're willing to play the game, I think that's a decent thing to do, okay? And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I will continue to keep you all updated it as I do make buys and plays and stuff here and over in the Discord. And also don't forget, if you want to see a little bit more analysis, if you need some help with your analysis on maybe, XLM, XRP or whatever, every single day I post analysis, thoughts, question and answers, and much more over on my Instagram. It's called The Life of Tyler Hill, and it is linked down below. And as you can see, I'm posting updates every single day, 5 to 10 videos every day going over all your favorite cryptos. So I'll link that down below. When you land on my Instagram, just head over to the Reels tab and you'll be able to see all of that there. So that's going to be about it for me today, guys. Don't forget that if you want to go get up to $10,000 in bonuses when you exit this video, click that link to BTCC down below. And overall, I hope you guys are good. Let me know in the comment section if you're dollar cost averaging this week or if you're taking profit this week. What's your plan? Or if you're just holding. DCA, holding, taking profits. Let me know what you're doing, and I can't wait to chat with you all down there. See you, everybody.